We welcome you to another edition of Snap the Pigskin. Noah Clark, Kedrick Stumbris, Sam Gemini of the Puckworms podcast. Happy December. We got some good news for you in the NFL. Talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, the offense for Pittsburgh exploding last weekend against the Cincinnati Bengals. Is this Steelers team for real? Minnesota Vikings and the Kansas City Chiefs. Which team is more of the fraud, and which one has had their devil magic work more to win these games? Looking at the plus 500 teams, any frauds, any sleepers. We'll talk about that. And then the Bears firing Matt Eberflus, something that Chicago has never done in the history of the Chicago Bears franchise. Guys, good to hear your voices. Sam, good to hear your voice. It must be, you got your own apartment, I see. You got your own, living in your closet. That's a nice spot. But how we doing over there? How's life?
Good. I'm glad you invited me on the show today. Thanks for having me. I just wanted to make sure Kedrick's aware now that I actually live in Chicago. I'm 5 blocks away from Wrigley, so I don't want to hear any more of this about Naperville and Lyle and everything else. I'm in Chicago, so I'm officially better than both of you now.
I could have sworn you were still in Palatine.
It's Palatine.
I don't give a shit about you, Fibs.
Oh, man. Kedrick, how we doing? Transfer portal week. The signing day is here as well. I just made a few signings as well. I hear today.
Yeah, you really teed it up with excitement there. Way to not just drown off into your own abyss there. Yeah, transfer portal season is upon us for the Badgers after they've hit a let's call it a 30-year low in the Wisconsin Badgers football program. We have our transfer portal tracker up over on Athlon Sports that is always getting updated every day, and full profiles on all 24 signings that they made today on National Signing Day. So very exciting stuff today if you're a football fan, which, fortunately I'm not.
Oh, it's good to hear you guys' voices. All right, let's get right into it with our drives of the week. We start with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Pittsburgh, their offense erupted against the Cincinnati Bengals. Pittsburgh with Russell Wilson, they went from Wilson to Fields. Since that change, Russell Wilson has been a change of pace for this offense in a big way. Both of these two quarterbacks dueled it out, Wilson and Burrow, for a combined total of 723 pass yards and 6 touchdowns. Wilson got the victory for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers moving to 9-3 with a chance now to kind of take a little bit of an even bigger step closer towards that AFC North division title. Baltimore losing to the Eagles was very massive for the Steelers, but man, I'll start off by saying this. Russell Wilson is having a resurgence year because here's a guy in Denver who we didn't really think was a good quarterback anymore. I even said it. I thought he was washed. But now all of a sudden he goes to Pittsburgh, and the Steelers are not only playing good, but they're playing great football, and they're playing great football at the right time. So Sam, I'm going to start with you. Your thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers and on the Russell Wilson resurgence here.
I'm very much here for the Russell Wilson story. I think the NFL right now, I think it's refreshing to see somebody throw the ball as well as Wilson has, because I feel like there's a lot of dual threat quarterbacks, a lot of scrambling quarterbacks. Not that it's not exciting, but I feel like we're running out of quarterbacks that are just accurate. And I thought that's really fun to watch. And I've been a big fan of Russell Wilson for a while, as you have as well. So that was it's pretty exciting. He's been obviously really good. He's had a completion percentage of over 70% in 3 of his last 5 games, 414 yards last game. I did not see this coming this year, but this is what happens when you have a really good organization like Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin gets the most out of all of his guys. This is a fun story. And I think this is going to be really interesting in the playoffs. They've got a game against Baltimore. They still play Baltimore again, right? They only played them once.
They do. They got another game against Baltimore.
Yeah,
I think it's very late in the year, though.
That's going to be really fun. Yeah, this is very exciting. I will say, though, I feel so bad for Joe Burrow. This is just such a disaster. I mean, he is having basically an MVP caliber season. He's got over 3,300 yards this year, a completion percentage close to 68, 30 touchdowns and 5 interceptions for Joe Burrow this season, a 107.4 rating this season. He I don't know if he can actually win an MVP because his team is going to suck, but what a shame. What a darn shame. All the close losses, the end of game heartbreaking plays, and a defense that is just miserable right now. So that was my other takeaway from that Steelers-Bengals game.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's really good, but Joe Burrow's having a really good year. And coming off of an injury too, which is even bigger. I mean, mind you, like he's playing well. You think a lot of people that come off these injuries don't seem to get back to their same form. I mean, especially Joe Burrow. He's already suffered an ACL injury at the beginning of his playing career. He suffered a wrist injury last year. Those are kind of two injuries that are brutal for a quarterback in terms of his play, and he's been able to manage to get through both of them. And I do think that even if they don't make the playoffs, and they definitely won't, he should at least be a candidate for like comeback play of the year or something, because he's been playing really well. But yeah, that defense too is not doing him any favors. They suck. They suck so badly.
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna jump.
I mean, like their first score of the day was a pick six. Like I understand this Cincy defense is like not great. And it's like maybe too much to say, like, all right, you have to go out and score 35 points to go win this game, Joe Burrow. But like defense spotted you 7 off the bat, and
then they gave up 44 and they lost.
Yeah, I don't know. At a certain point, your offense needs to be able to go out there and win the game, right? Like, but you got to be able to run the ball. You only ran for 93 yards. But no, I overall agree. I just don't think we should absolve Joe Burrow of everything.
What has Burrow not done well enough? Like they've scored 30 points.
No, I generally agree with you. Absolutely. But after they went down and drove for a score in the first quarter, right? In the second quarter, the drive chart for Cincinnati, let me pull this up here, is like not good. They didn't score except for I think a field goal in the second quarter of that game, while the Steelers scored on every single one of their drives in the second quarter. So like 4 scores, which like, yeah, I get it. That's on the defense. But after Cincinnati went up 14-7, their drives were, or after they went up 21-14, they went fumble, punt, and both of which, you know what? No, I'm wrapping myself back around to like, this isn't good. Nope. All right. That fumble 6 in the second half wasn't great though.
Yeah. It's fair.
Yeah. I mean, Bengals, I want to take back what I said about them making the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs now at this point. It's not looking too good for Cincinnati. And
Jesus. Wait, the Cincy defense only forced 1 punt in this game.
That is Joe Barry-like stuff right there.
It is
surprising.
On the
44 points
on the Steelers, or on the Steelers' first offensive drive, The Bengals had a pick six, but then after that, the Steelers went touchdown, 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 field goal,
Oh my
field goal,
God.
missed field goal from 42 yards, touchdown, punt, a 3-and-out though.
Wow.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
Was that when Fields was in the game? They put Fields in the game late, like to close out the
no.
game. No, probably
Yes.
not, because the game would have been over once they had Fields, because it was
This
still a
wasn't
close
that.
game.
That wasn't that. That was at the very beginning of the fourth quarter. Punt and then field goal, end of game.
Oh my God. That's bad. Like that.
They've given up 34 points or more 5 games in a row. Like it's pretty amazing.
It's pretty amazing. And then what's bizarre about it is they're still able to stay in a lot of these games, and it's quite insane. I mean, there hasn't been a game yet where they've lost by double digits this season. Like there hasn't been a game yet where they've lost by double digits.
They lost by 11, or they lost by 10 against Philadelphia.
Did they?
That was the only one.
Oh yes, sorry. They lost. Yes, actually, that's by
20. Sorry,
that's
20.
by 20.
Math is hard.
So other than the Philadelphia game, their offense has kept them in almost every single game except one. The defense has given up so many points this year, and I don't know if it is this year. You know, they're not getting anything out of their pass rush. Their secondary is bad. I mean, it also
we knew this defense was probably not going to be good coming into the season.
Yeah, but that's the other thing too, is they didn't do anything in free agency. They didn't sign anybody in free agency. They really didn't improve on the offensive side. They still have the contract situation with Higgins and with Jamar Chase looming over their heads after just paying Joe Burrow. Like it's not looking good. And then the offensive line is absolutely terrible. It's not a good situation for Cincinnati to be in. So tough break for the Bengals. But for the Steelers, though, if the playoffs were to start today, they'd be hosting a playoff game. They'd have the 3 seed, which would be the other wild card spot. And that would be nice to have a playoff game in Pittsburgh. Steelers fans have been kind of eager to look for a playoff game in Pittsburgh for a while. Their last playoff game was 2020 during the pandemic. That was the last time they hosted a playoff game, and they lost that game to the Cleveland Browns.
Didn't you try to do this last week when we found out you were off by like 6 years?
You know, I think I'm actually right on this one, because I think that they had a away game against the Chiefs.
See, here's the problem is that
an away game against the Bills.
No. This is the problem is you go, I think, when you could just do the 2 seconds it takes to Google search this.
Yes. So I could.
In this case, you are right, but I am still mad at you.
I remember that Browns game. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was quite insane.
That was the time that Noah then predicted the Browns to beat the Chiefs.
Yes,
and I lost my mind. And then they didn't beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, they could have beat the Chiefs. It was a bogus call made
except they didn't.
Amazing.
And then Mahomes got injured, and they still didn't.
Yeah. Bogus call made by the refs there.
Noah's favorite thing is saying that a team that lost should have actually won.
Correct.
That's his favorite thing.
I actually think his most favorite thing is saying that they could have won. I feel like that's always
almost won.
It's like, they could have.
Well,
but when that doesn't happen,
they
and they happen to have an MVP caliber quarterback on that team, then that quarterback was actually bad the whole year. Hence, Dak Prescott.
Well, this next segment is just perfect for you for second down here. The Chiefs and the Vikings. Dude, Sam, how many more? Me and Kedrick have talked about this. How many more times the Chiefs going to keep getting away with this? I mean, we've already
insane.
We've already seen a blocked field goal for them to win the game. We saw last week on Black Friday their quarterback fumble a snap after they were driving to go win the game. We've seen multiple times this year the Chiefs have eluded losses. They almost lost to the Panthers out of all teams. Like
it's actually I've never seen anything like it.
It truly is insane when you look at the way the Chiefs are winning games.
I want the both of you hands up, hands off your keyboards right now. All right. How many games in a row? I'm telling you right now, it's in a row. Have the Chiefs won in one score contests.
Dating back to last year?
Or just this year?
I'm telling you, how many games in a row have the Chiefs won in one score contests in a row?
I want to say like 9.
15.
Sam is closer. It's 14 games.
Really?
14 one-score games in a row. That is the longest streak in NFL history, passing the 2003 to then 2004 New England Patriots, who had won 13 consecutive one-score games.
Oh my goodness.
That's bananas.
Yeah,
It truly is.
Imagine flipping a coin 14 times and having it come up heads every time. That's basically what it
It
is.
just can't keep getting away.
must be Harvey Dent's lucky coin.
I guess.
They just got to make sure that they don't get half blown up and then the coin gets ruined.
Goodness.
I've never right from the beginning of the season too. The very first game on opening
from
night
the Ravens game
when they won by a toe. Literally, they won by a toe because I forget who the receiver was. It was
Isaiah Likely.
Likely, that's right. It was I knew it was a weird name like Likely. He had the one toe out of bounds, and then there was the Bengals game. I've honestly lost track of all of the game of how all of these games have happened. They've all been insane.
Well, the Bengals PI, the Falcons PI, the
of course the Broncos blocked kick, the Panthers game, which was that a walk-off field goal, the Panthers game? I think it was.
Yes, the Panthers was a walk-off kick. The Raiders last week with the Raiders driving at the end of the game.
You know what they are? I mean,
the
this is the opposite of the Bears season. That's what we're watching right now.
Well,
they're just winning every crazy game.
Well, the other team that's doing that too, and the other team I put on here is the Minnesota Vikings. Like, since Kevin O'Connell has taken over, they have had the most one-score wins, or they've had at least the one-score. They've had games where they've won by like 3 points or less, or 5 points or less, under Kevin O'Connell. And I tell you this, I'm so frustrated by this Vikings team because they are not good. They are not good. This second half of the season, they have been so bad at winning these games, and they somehow find a way at the end to win consistently. Like the first 5 games of the season, they were dominating teams in the first quarter, putting teams away in the first quarter, and then the second half, they let these teams get back. Now they're not even able to put teams away in the first quarter. They're struggling just to even score or hold teams off in the first quarter. And the Arizona Cardinals game and the Jacksonville Jaguars game, they almost let both of those teams come back and win those games. And I don't know which one is worse. Seeing Minnesota do this every week or seeing the Chiefs do it for the last year, last few weeks.
This is something Minnesota has been doing for like the last 3 seasons, because it goes
since Kevin O'Connell took over.
Yeah, it goes back to that year where they flamed out in the playoffs against the Giants, and got Daniel Jones paid. And they won however many of those one-score games. Last season, in their first 14 games, in their first 14 games, 13 of them were one-score games. In the time Kevin O'Connell has been there, they've played 33 one-score games and won 24 of them.
Insane.
Matt Eberflus played in 23 one-score games and won 5. Just while we're doing the math, courtesy of Minnesota Vikings on SI.
So looking at the Vikings schedule, they were, I think so I got it pulled up on Pro Football Reference. Let me find the numbers here. They had 2 games where they got blown out. 2 games where they got blown out. They had the Packers game and the Cowboys game. But every other game.
About? Last year?
No, sorry, 2022.
Oh.
I'm talking about 2022. So the Vikings in 2022, they had 2 games where they got the doors blown off them. But every other game after that is either a one-score game or a one-score loss. Or just a loss, flat out. And Holy cow. I remember the 2022 Vikings. They had that insane game in Buffalo where they were left for dead. They had that insane Justin Jefferson catch to drive them down the field. Then they got a goal line stand, but the Bills gave them a goal line stand, and then the Bills fumbled at the 1 yard line that led to a touchdown, and then the Vikings drove and tried to go for the game winning touchdown, and they didn't get it. It was a whole thing. So here, let me look at this now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a lot. It's a lot. I think it's 13. I'm going to say 13. But yeah.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, someone else just entered the transfer portal.
Oh. But no, like, I don't know which is crazier. Because, like, at some point, Minnesota's both of these teams' luck have to run out, because, like, there's no way you can see these teams. There's no way I can see either one of these teams making it far in the playoffs. Like,
There's no way you can see the repeat defending champs making it far in the playoffs. This is classic Noah. This is so classic Noah.
Have you seen the Chiefs this year? They are terrible.
Have you seen the Chiefs play a playoff game, dude?
Yes, I have. I think this year it's the Bills' year. I think Buffalo is going to make it farther. I think it's the year they finally beat Kansas City. I truly do. Because
Okay.
I don't see Kansas City, the way that they've played in all these close games this year, be able to try and come into a playoff game against Buffalo. Because Buffalo's been playing Kansas City so many times in the postseason. They've been so close. And I think this is going to be their time. I feel like at some point they got to get the monkey off their back. This is the time. They got to do it. Same with Minnesota.
Go.
Same with Minnesota. I think Minnesota's going to fall. I think they're going to fall pretty far on their
Okay,
face.
the difference is one of them is Sam Darnold and one of them is Patrick Mahomes. That's the difference.
That's still crazy.
Not
though.
quite the same.
Their quarterback room is just hilarious to look at. The Vikings, like Minnesota, has Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, and JJ McCarthy as their quarterbacks, and Sam Darnold somehow is balling out. He might get traded to a different team to try and ball out there, and it will be a cold day in hell if Daniel Jones starts going off for the Minnesota Vikings. That is the day I really is no hope at all. That. Anyways,
Well, if Daniel Jones has been bad enough, maybe he should be in the Hall of Fame along with his Giants predecessor.
Eli Manning?
Sorry, not to open up another can of worms.
Well, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Eli Manning should be. You've said this too.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
kidding
Was
me?
it?
I've been anti-Eli Manning Hall of Fame for my entire life.
Kedrick, Eli Manning Hall of Fame, yes or no?
The Hall of Fame is such a participation trophy now for quarterbacks who win a Super Bowl. It's pathetic.
True.
Yeah.
I actually agree. It's you don't have to do anything to get in the Hall of Fame.
The fact that there was genuine discourse about Matt Stafford to the Hall of Fame after the one Super Bowl win with the Rams is like among the dumbest conversations in sports media that I can remember. I have come around on the Matt Stafford Hall of Fame conversation, to be fair, but it's only because he somehow keeps doing magic stuff, even though he should be a corpse. But like, man, the fact that there is this need by people to put every quarterback who's ever sniffed a Super Bowl in the Hall of Fame is really sad to me. I cannot wait if the Lions win the Super Bowl this year. I cannot wait to hear this discourse on Jared Goff belong
in the Hall of Fame?
It's going to happen. Bookmark it, like 100%. If the Lions win the Super Bowl, there will be discussion about Jared Goff to the Hall of Fame because that's the easiest, laziest hour on sports radio that you could do.
Hey, quick trivia question for you here, Noah.
Yes.
Which quarterback has a higher completion percentage and passer rating, Daniel Jones or Eli Manning?
Oh my God.
I'll give you a hint. It's not Eli Manning.
It's Daniel Jones. Are you really?
Eli Manning has a passer rate. Eli Manning has a completion percentage of 60.3 and a passer rating of 84.1. Daniel Jones has 64.1 and 84.3.
Good God.
Daniel Jones is a better quarterback than Eli Manning.
he sucks. He should, he sucks.
Yeah,
Although I
but
will say,
helmet catch.
but helmet catch, but helmet catch, and then the Manningham catch, and just
Have you guys seen the Manning cast? That shit's hilarious.
I
Right along with the Costco guys. We bring the boom.
we bring the boom.
Oh, Noah just exposed himself as a complete total
Boom.
loser.
I
Oh.
love Costco though. Have you ever shopped at Costco? Have any of you guys shopped at Costco? Have you tasted a chicken bake? It will blow
I've
your
shopped
mind.
I mean, well, not me, like literally me, but
Yeah, but I don't watch little 12-year-old boys dancing on TikTok, Noah.
Well, there's a grown man in there as well.
That
It's even
definitely
weirder.
makes
I don't
it
watch
better.
anyone dancing on TikTok. I don't feel the need to do so.
That's fair. No, but it's all over Twitter.
Where did we get off the rails here? What were we talking about? I think it was when Noah mentioned Daniel Jones, and then I decided to bring up Eli Manning.
I don't know. I don't know. But let's get to third down here. Let's take a look at the plus.
This is looking like 3rd and 20 the way the show's going right
Yes,
now.
third and forever. This is third and forever. Let's take a look at the plus 500 teams. So just to name off all the plus 500 teams as we get closer to playoffs, I'll name off the 500 teams in the AFC. This is per ESPN. Chiefs, the Bills.
This is per ESPN
Steelers.
because
Yes.
Noah needs to credit winning the
Noah-
records of the teams in the NFL.
Oh.
This
Noah
is not
Clark.
something I have the capacity to do independently.
Well, you always
research
tell
on.
me is like, do
Fortunately,
Noah-
we have with a great research team at ESPN to tell us which teams won and lost football games.
We have Noah Clark.
Holy.
Noah Clark reporting live on the records
my
of every
Lord.
NFL team.
You guys are too much today.
Noah, I don't know why do you have me on? Do you enjoy this? I don't know. I'm enjoying it.
I know. I think you guys are all enjoying this today.
I just like when we get to
Just-
gang up when
just
gang up on Noah
harass
when I'm
me.
on the show.
Just harass me. But no, the teams that are over 500 are the Chiefs, the Bills, the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Broncos. Those are the teams that are over 500 in the AFC. Now in the NFC, it is
I don't believe in the Broncos over 500. Do your own research. Do your own research.
Did you
Don't
say
believe in
Houston?
big
I don't-
ESPN. Do your own research.
Did I hear you say Houston, or I might have missed it?
Houston's not in there.
No, Houston
But-
below 500.
But the Lions, the Eagles, the Seahawks, the Vikings, the Packers, and the Commanders are the other
Never
teams.
mind. Yes, they are.
Houston is 8-5.
Yeah.
Any frauds, any
This is
sleepers.
bad reporting. Bad
Yeah.
reporting on
Noah.
the win-loss records of the NFL teams. Bad sources.
Did I miss the Texans on there? Oh, I did miss the Texans. I forgot.
The
to put
teams
that up.
actually over 500 in the AFC are the Bills, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Texans. The teams
Yes.
over
Yeah.
500 in the NFC are the Eagles, the Commanders, the Seahawks, the Lions, the Vikings, the Packers,
Oh my.
and that's it. Because the Falcons
Yeah,
And the
nobody.
The
has
Falcons
$50,000
side
over
for the
Falcons aren't
NFC
even
South are at 500.
Oh my god. But anyways, any frauds, any sleepers today for this
So-
one?
Sam, I want to let you know that like last week, Noah dialed up the show with the rundown that was like, we're gonna talk about the Giants and we're gonna talk about the Raiders. And I'm like, what on earth are we doing? It is week 13, and you want to talk about all these dumpster teams. So he texts me earlier this week.
Yeah, I texted him
and
today,
he goes,
or the other day.
I know last week's itinerary was rough. What do you want to talk about this week? I go, teams above 500. And so he came with the
Classic.
most literal interpretation.
I didn't know
of
if you're
that
being
possible.
literal.
shows up for the show. All right, I got my binder. Here's our list for today.
Oh no.
Oh man, that is funny.
This
That
is
funny.
this is a rough show for me today. This is not
Yeah,
a-
well,
looking
that's
good.
all right because we're gonna talk about the Bears soon, and you know I always get ganged up on when we do that. So that's a
Eh.
funny story. That's a funny story.
I thought you meant it literally. That's what I was thinking.
Sometimes
my
Noah,
mind.
Literally discuss segments where we discuss things like the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team above
Yes.
500, a team
When-
with a winning record, or before, like the Chiefs and the
Oh,
Vikings,
God.
teams with winning records. Not, hey, I'm going to list all the records of all 32 teams in the NFL. I hope you
per
enjoy.
ESPN.
I hope you enjoyed my slam poetry session here.
Goodness gracious.
When back in the student section days, Noah used to text me saying, "What are we going to talk about today?" And I would reply, "Sports."
Yes, he always would reply that sports. And I was like, that doesn't help me figure out what we're going to talk about today. Oh, God.
I think the Texans might be a fraud.
All right.
Yep.
Texas
Absolutely.
fraud. I 100% think they are. Falcons, I also think are frauds. I don't think that they are.
Frauds, they're 500. What is there to be fraudulent about?
They might bench Kirk Cousins. That is very much a possibility.
That didn't answer my question in the slightest.
They're
already clearly mid. So what are they being fraudulent of?
Well, because weren't they supposed to be like really good at the beginning of the year with Kirk Cousins?
But they're mid. They're 6-6.
I think the Giants are frauds, guys. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna put it out there.
Oh my
Giants,
God.
not good. That's my hot take.
No, I think you have very much misconstrued what the meaning of frauds is.
Okay, let me throw another fraud out there. The Vikings.
That would fit the definition.
Let me throw that out there. The Vikings. I started with the Falcons. I replaced it with the Vikings. I think that the second half of the season, they haven't been playing really particularly that well. And they've, won a lot of these 1-point games, 1-score games. I think at some point their luck's going to run out. I think they're just going to get exhausted by the time they get to the playoffs like they did in 2022. I think they're such a fraud. I don't see them finishing strong towards the end point of this season, at least. So there's my fraud.
You have an argument that they've won all these 1-score games, but they are 6th in DVOA through the year, right? Like they have still performed really, really well on a down-to-down basis. The Chiefs are the bigger candidate for being fraudulent here with all of these 1-score wins. They are still 12th in DVOA. They have not been good down to down. For as much as I do understand Sam's point that they still have Patrick Mahomes and maybe they turn it on and maybe there is just magic for them in the playoffs as always, they just haven't been good down to down this year. Patrick Mahomes hasn't been anything near MVP caliber Patrick Mahomes this season. I can absolutely see Kansas City fitting this bill for being frauds. I could see them. Pittsburgh, which I think is going to win the NFC North, is barely top half in DVOA. They're 14th in the league, and that offense could put up a stinker at any given point in time. And I don't think any of us would be surprised, given the fact that they gave up 31 points to the Bengals. Maybe there's something there when that defense is supposed to be very good, but they do that. I don't know. I could see Pittsburgh flaming out in the first round, I guess, if they don't get a bye, which is a serious conversation we're having, which is insane.
That still is amazing how Kansas City could get a bye, even though they haven't played well. Sam, who are your thoughts? Fraud. Who we got for a fraud here?
I said I think the Texans aren't that good. I don't think they've really looked that impressive. CJ Stroud is kind of not having as his season hasn't been as great as it was last year. They have also won a lot of 1-score games against bad teams. They just beat Jacksonville by 3 last week. They lost to the Jets. They beat Indianapolis by 3. They do have a win against the Bills, and oh wow, look at that! They won. They beat the Cowboys by 24 in Dallas. Oh wait, everybody does that. Even the Bears game, that was still way back in week 2, but that didn't look that good either. Only 19-13, and that was not one of the better versions of the Bears that we've seen this year either, and just in terms of how everything was going. So I don't love the Texans. Right. Well, I like the Texans in terms of I want them to advance because I think they could be fun to watch, and it's Stroud is a good story, but I don't think they're very good.
Nice. Now,
Thank you.
nice. Any sleepers, guys? Any sleepers here for this for the team's 500 plus? I might go with the Packers. Not trying to be biased, but
Oh my god.
I might try and go with the Packers.
Can they even qualify as a sleeper if they're 9
this
well,
is
like
like digging into these here at 9-3, being a sleeper team is like
You don't think they are?
God, the NFC North is just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about teams floating around that number, I would put Arizona in there at 6-6. That they are 7th in DVOA. Like, they look good. I understand that they just lost this close game to Minnesota, but like I said, I think Minnesota is like better than you might assume given all their 1-score victories. I could see Arizona winning a pair of playoff games this year if things fall their way and they manage to get in.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. They're one of those fun teams this year that they'll lose, but they'll lose in incredible fashion, or they'll win and they'll win in incredible fashion. They're a fun team this year. They're one of those fun teams. I don't complain about that.
I kind of like the Broncos right now.
Yeah.
Bo Nix has.
I don't understand them. I don't understand them to save my life. Convince me.
It's weird. Well, I look, I'll be honest. Okay. I don't think I've watched very many snaps of the Broncos this year. I watched them on Monday Night Football this past week. I saw Nix make some bad plays, and then I saw him make an incredible pass that went for a 93-yard touchdown, which was pretty cool. But it's a well-coached team with Sean Payton and Bo Nix. I mean, it's a rookie quarterback, so you can't put too much trust in him, I guess. But he's been better the last couple. Like he's been trending upward, I guess. The completion percentage is extraordinarily inconsistent. Wow. But he has had some good game. I don't know. Look, I don't know. I came on here on 2 minutes notice, and I was told I need to pick a fraud and a sleeper. So Denver's my sleeper. There you go.
It's a good sleeper. It's a good sleeper. I mean, because the Broncos play the Chiefs. And the AFC West is not over, at least for right now. I have a soft spot for teams that lose on a blocked field goal at the buzzer. I have a little bit of empathy for those teams. I can root for the Broncos against a major divisional rival.
I don't know. Major implies it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Gotta win one. Gotta win one now and then.
All right.
Be a major rival.
Yeah.
It's the biggest rivalry in the NFL.
The Broncos and the Chiefs are?
No, the Bears and the Packers.
Sam, I didn't know Broncos Chiefs was the biggest rivalry in the NFL.
Broncos Chiefs is pretty good too.
Yeah.
Broncos Chiefs has some history there.
Yes, absolutely.
It does. It does. Broncos country. That's right. Fourth down. Let's talk about the Bears here, Sam.
We're definitely punting at this point, right?
Are
we going for it?
I don't even know if you go for it at this situation. Fourth down, but the Bears they fire Matt Eberflus, which first time in when, Sam, have the Bears ever fired a head coach mid-season? I mean, it sounded like it was getting pretty bad in Chicago. I mean, Jalen Johnson shooed Matt Eberflus out in the locker room after the game. Like,
dude,
did not look pretty.
That is I actually don't know much about that. I don't know how, somehow I missed that. I hear them talking about it on the radio and stuff, but I don't really know. I just know that he got, I need to do some more research and figure out what he said. I just know he got up in the locker room and basically in a different way said, what are we doing? Which that's a crazy story to me. But yeah, this is I don't know, Bears 105 years old. First time fired a coach in season. And this is a guy that followed Trestman, John Fox, and Matt Nagy, and they didn't even get fired in season.
Yeah.
This is really
times are changing, Sam.
I mean, it could be the worst coach in the history of the Bears, really. I mean, he was the only one to get fired in the middle of the season. I have never seen anything like what happened on Thanksgiving. It was hilarious. Was crazy. I have never seen a team with 30 seconds left run out of time with a timeout. Like, that's like the most mind-blowing. They had a timeout. Like, that, I feel like sometimes I forget that when I think about that game. It's like, oh man, they didn't go quickly enough, and they got to get up there and run a play. And then I'm like, wait, they could have stopped the clock. They had a timeout. I don't understand. That was the weirdest thing. I think if a coach did that, if a team like the Giants did that in the last game of the season, they would be accused of the conspiracy theories would be rampant about tanking and trying to, like, the coach trying to lose a game on purpose. That's how crazy that was on Thursday. Unbelievable. And then they made him do the press conference. Did you and I talk about that? Did we do the press conference on Friday morning?
Yeah, he doubled down on his statements saying it was the right thing to do. It was the right call. I was like,
he was like, yeah, I think we handled it the right way. I think we handled it the right way. And then he went out there and did an 8-minute press conference, and he's like, everybody's basically like, Coach, are you getting fired? When are you getting fired, and when will we know that you're fired? And he's like, I'm confident that we're going to be on to San Francisco or something. And then 2 hours later, he was fired.
That was, yeah. Some people, there were some rumors that like they fired him and then they had him do his press conference, and I don't know. But so Sam,
Bears aren't smart enough to do that.
So the whole thing about the Jalen Johnson thing, it was after the Bears game. Jalen Johnson's in the locker room just cussing Matt Eberflus out.
Yeah, I know he like. Do you know what he said? I know he stood up and got angry. Basically,
I think he was just like, he's just saying how bad of a coach he was. They said, Jay Glazer said this on Fox on Sunday. He said that there was like it was colorful language being said. Colorful language and language that cannot be said on the show that was being said with Matt Eberflus. So there was that. And then Jaquan Brisker, as soon as Eberflus got fired, he tweeted it out. He tweeted something out about it. And mind you, he's on IR right now. And then apparently he came off IR as soon as Eberflus got fired. Or like it was just wild. Like with the Bears situation. Like, and then
it's according to Sports Illustrated article.
Yeah.
Written by Mike McDaniel. I'm assuming that's not the same Mike McDaniel that's coaching in the NFL who wrote this article. It says that Jalen Johnson interrupted Eberflus's post-game speech and confronted his head coach. That is crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's even crazier when you think about that. Like, imagine like you're gathering the team all together, and then Jalen Johnson comes in and just cusses you out.
Thank you, Jalen Johnson, for firing Matt Eberflus. I appreciate it.
But then what I thought was a huge sign of change was Kevin Warren coming up there and saying he's leading the search. Like Ryan Poles is not leading the search.
Well,
that's Kevin Warren's deal.
But he also said that it's Ryan Poles' decision.
It is Ryan Poles' decision, but Kevin Warren's going to be doing the search, which is interesting.
There was a lot of mealy mouth stuff said in that press conference. Also, I look. I heard Ben Johnson speak today, and that really turned me on. And now that's really all I can think about. Although I remain steadfast in my belief that that's not going to happen. It's probably going to be some random guy. Well, actually, I don't know if it'll be some random guy you've never heard of.
You could get Joe Brady.
What the Bears often do is they try to hire a guy. They have a coaching tenure that goes horribly like this. And then they try to hire a guy that's the exact opposite of the guy that was just the head coach. And that's really often what ends up happening. So I don't really know who it's going to be. I'm just not very optimistic that it's going to be anybody who's a big name or anybody smart. So, oh my God, Ben Johnson, he was like talking dirty to me today on the radio. He sounded so awesome.
That's wild.
I don't think that's going to happen though.
I'll throw a couple. There's a couple underrated names. Joe Brady, I think, would be an interesting one. I think that what he's done in Buffalo has been really impressive. Like taking over for an offense that when they had Ken Dorsey. They were struggling, and Joe Brady came in and turned that around. You also look to led the 2019 was the play caller for the 2019 LSU offense. So there's that. That's a big positive. Maybe Cliff Kingsbury, Caleb Williams' old OC at USC. That's one. I don't think the only issue with Cliff Kingsbury is his lack of leadership does concern me.
It didn't go that well in Arizona.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I feel like if they were to hire Cliff Kingsbury, it's just you're taking a massive step back because Caleb Williams looks good. He looks pretty dang good, despite the fact he's lost 4 straight, one score games. 6 straight 1 score games.
Well, I don't know if they haven't all been 1 score, but they've lost 6 straight games.
Either way, he's lost a lot of games dramatically and brutally in the worst way possible. And I think that you need a coach that can bring leadership to the locker room, or in this case, as Kevin Warren said, a leader of men. And I don't think Cliff Kingsbury has that. Does Joe Brady have it? Maybe. Mike Vrabel. Would you be going down the Mike Vrabel route, Sam, on that? Kedrick, Mike Vrabel? No?
I don't care.
Okay.
They're gonna find a way to mess it up. Like the process is gonna be the process, and then the result's gonna be the same result. Like I have full faith in that.
Yeah,
that's why I've been telling you for 6 months that they're not going to hire Ben Johnson,
which they should.
Whatever their process is going to lead them away from Ben Johnson.
Well, so then
their process sucks.
Well, but then why does Kevin Warren get involved? This is the interesting thing, dude, which I haven't seen.
I don't know. I don't understand. Like, I don't know what they do. Like, I guess it's probably good that Kevin Warren is going to be heavily involved because Ryan Poles did such a bad job the first time. But like, I don't really want Mike.
It's pretty clear that Kevin Warren is pretty heavily involved in front office football operations in there, and yet, I was berated on this show because people didn't understand why Jim Harbaugh was never in play there, even though Kevin Warren is clearly heavily involved in football operations there.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, I'm not saying, but I'm not saying, but I am just saying.
No, I still don't understand why Jim Harbaugh. I don't understand why you wouldn't want a guy that wins everywhere he's been at. But we don't need to reopen that conversation.
The Bears didn't even try.
Okay, you don't want college football. It's fine. You don't know ball. It's fine. It's fine.
Kedrick Stumbris, certified ball knower. Certified ball knower.
It's certified interpersonal relationship beef knower in this case. Has nothing to do with ball.
Now, who would you
going pretty well down there in LA?
So, the idealistic hire, Sam, would, if it's not Ben Johnson, who's the idealistic hire that you would want? Throw a name out there.
Joe Brady, I guess. If they're not gonna, I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to make the decision. I really am. Everybody who's smart that I like has never been a head coach. Everybody that's been a head coach, I don't like.
Except Lovie Smith.
I don't know.
Except Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith's been the only good coach for the Bears, at least for right now. Maybe Mike Ditka. But good for Chicago. Good for Chicago for firing him. I was very shocked on Black Friday when I found out they were firing Eberflus. I did not see that coming. I truly did not see that coming, Sam. So how did you feel when you heard when I gave you the news about that? Were you just
relieved?
Was with the SpongeBob meme
right. This is enough. It's time to move on with the dead Matt Eberflus conversation. There's too many circles to be talked around.
That guy is never gonna coach a game again in his life.
That's
good
crazy.
riddance.
Boo hoo. All right, bringing home the bacon. We got this one comes from the LA Chargers. Taheeb Still, 2 interceptions. He had one for pick 6. One of them was a game-sealing interception against the Chargers, and so he gets the slab of bacon. Congrats to quarterback Taheeb Still. Chargers with a big matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs this week on Sunday Night Football. And now we get to our pigskin picks. Kedrick, what do we got for do you have the scores pulled up, or are you
I'm still
deep in the
winning.
You're still winning?
Still winning. Have been winning since week 7. Just chugging along. I had a pretty good week. Hit that Cowboys by 7 right on the money. That was pretty solid. The Bills winning by 25. Did a number on some of our numbers. We did not have that, but
No.
overall a pretty good week for me, except for that Bills by 25. I had a better or same result as you in every game. So you gotta pick up ground here quickly, Noah.
Yeah, we're running out of time. To try and pick up some ground. So let's get right into it. Packers and Lions, Thursday Night Football. Green Bay, Detroit. This is a kind of a big NFC North matchup. This is really huge for Green Bay. They can split the series with the Lions on Thursday Night Football. Last time Green Bay played the Lions on Thursday, they won. So there's that thought. And I'm curious, Kedrick, because this game, I think, to me, says a lot of what we might see from the rest of the year from both of these two teams and what their stories are going to behold. So, Packers Lions, who we got in this one?
I think the Lions are going to win. I think the Lions are just the better team, and the Packers, like, I understand the Lions have injury problems, but the Packers have injury problems at positions they can't really afford to have them at. And I get that they got away with it for a game against the Dolphins, but not having Jair Alexander again is going to be a problem. Not having Edgerrin Cooper is going to be a problem. And I think even a little bit not having Romeo Doubs is a problem, particularly with all these Packers wide receivers that keep dropping balls. I'm going to take the Lions to win by 6. They're Super Bowl good. They are Super Bowl good. And if the Packers had the ability to play Jair and Edge Cooper in this game, they would be in this game. But unfortunately, they're not going to go, and they're going to get another mini bye here to try to recuperate. So yeah, give me the Lions by 6.
Sam, who are you picking here in this one? Packers, Lions. Who we got?
I'm picking the Lions. I mean, for the sake of not copying Kedrick's pick, I'll do Lions by 9, I suppose. I thought about the Packers for a second, but Detroit, there's just no weaknesses. I think Jordan Love puts the ball in danger too often. I think the Lions are too good. So yeah, Detroit by 9.
Yeah, I want to say Green Bay. I'm going to pick Green Bay here. I think that they can find a way to get it done. I think the big thing is going to be getting the ball to Josh Jacobs, getting it to him early, and just setting up the running game, setting it up to where you can go off the pass. Because here's the thing about Green Bay. They've had a couple weeks now where their defense has been really opportunistic in being able to get turnovers. They had in the Dolphins game, they had a turnover off of a muff punt that turned into points. They also had an interception that led to points. They had a goal line stand that led to them closing the game out that led to points. They've been able to get turnovers going back their way. And I think that's going to be key here in this game. Taylor Decker not playing for the Lions, I think is very huge as well. Get the pass rush going, get some pressure on Jared Goff, stop the run, and be a little bit more physical than the other team. And this is where, which I do think this is where Edgerrin Cooper will be missed. Like the one thing that Tampa Bay had on the Lions was stop the run game early and then make Jared Goff beat you with his arm and try and, just be a little bit more physical than the other team. And that's what I think really caused the Bucs to really steal a win against Detroit. But give me Green Bay by 3. I think they're going to find a way to pull it out. I think if they do pull it out, it's this NFC North gets very interesting because the Lions play the Bills, and if they lose to the Packers and they lose to the Bills back-to-back weeks, that division is very much not over, and it leaves it fully on the Vikings. But I'm thinking too far ahead, so give me Packers by 3. Next game, big one here for the AFC West. This is a division title clincher. If the Chiefs win on Sunday, Kedrick and Sam, they win the AFC West. And congrats to Kansas City. But what a year it's been for Jim Harbaugh and that squad. They could cause some chaos as well. Could they cause some chaos on Sunday night at Arrowhead? Or will the Chiefs Devil Magic step up once again? So who we got? What we got for our picks here, guys?
I'm going to take the Chiefs to win this game by a field goal. It's at Arrowhead. I have a really hard time picking the Chiefs to lose at Arrowhead. The Chargers managed to take a 10-point lead on the Ravens and choked it away. They were outscored at one point 30-6 until, a late game touchdown after the game was already decided with 46 seconds left made that look like a respectable 7-point margin. I don't think the Chargers are quite the team that I thought they might be against some of these contenders so far this year. I just don't think they have quite enough. So I'm going to take, give me the Chiefs by a full touchdown. I'll take the Chiefs by 7.
Nice. Sam, who we got? Chargers, Chiefs. I feel like you're picking the Chiefs in this matchup. I feel like it's pretty obvious.
I am going to do something that I never do, ever. I am picking the Chargers in this game.
What?
Especially with I never do that. Noah, when we have the series section, Noah picked against the Chiefs literally every week, every single week, and it never worked. And then it worked like one time out of 10, and then Noah's like, "I told you I picked against the Chiefs." I never do this, but I think I don't know what it is. I just have a vibe, which means nothing at all. It's total nonsense. But I just feel like the Chargers are going to win. I kind of feel like I like what's going on there right now. I feel like things are going really well with Harbaugh. I feel like it doesn't seem like the same old Chargers to me. It seems like they are capable of winning games. These games have always been close. These Chiefs-Chargers games, they're usually pretty good, I feel like. And the Chargers have given Kansas City a hard time. And I think just with the way the Chiefs are playing, I think it'll be a really good game. Obviously, the Chiefs would not be surprised at all if they win, but I'm going to take the Chargers in a really tight one by 2, I think, in this game.
Yeah. Oh man, now you got me stunned here. I'm truly stunned. Give me Chargers though by 3. I think the Chiefs at some point they need to, this is one of those games where I think if the Chargers can just split the series with Kansas City, there is hope that this team, maybe can compete with the Chiefs in this division. Finally, I mean, the Chiefs have kind of owned the AFC West the last several years since Mahomes was here, when Alex Smith was here. They've kind of owned this division. And that could be, the changing of the guard potentially with a win against Kansas City. Give me Chargers by 3. I think they're going to win it at the end. I think Herbert, he hasn't got, he hasn't been able to win one of these games at Arrowhead, and this would be a big one if they're able to pull it off here at Arrowhead. So last one, if you thought Chargers Chiefs was great, boy, Bengals Cowboys is going to be, exciting. You have to be sick to watch this game here. Joe Burrow versus Cooper Rush. And if that wasn't a more lopsided quarterback matchup, I don't know what you want from me. But Kedrick, who are you picking for this game? I feel like this is a pretty obvious answer from everybody here.
I mean, yeah. The big advantage the Bengals have in this game is that although their defense sucks, they don't have to play an offense. So that's good. I worry that at 4-8, this team that has some kind of that had some kind of playoff aspirations coming into the season is going to be putting in a questionable amount of effort at this time in the year. You never know. So I'm going to take the Bengals, but by what I think is a conservative 7 points. Yeah.
Sam, what are you thinking?
It's a fair point about whether they're necessarily motivated to get up for this game, in this as much as they normally would. I think going to Dallas on Monday Night Football still is probably enough of a thing, like a unique event to at least get them engaged, even if the season is kind of over. I don't know. I mean, when you said, Kedrick, when you said the biggest advantage the Bengals have going for them, I thought you were going to say is the fact that the Cowboys are playing at home. I have never.
That's
seen
what I was going to say. I've
never seen. I just never seen anything like this up until that Giants game. They had lost like 6 in a row at home or whatever, and they had given up. It was the minus 134 point differential. So I think there's going to be. I think the Bengals are going to put up a giant number. I think. Yeah, I mean, the Cowboy, it's just hard to imagine Dallas moving the ball. I'm just going to say Bengals by 20. Why not?
Ooh.
Guys, that's like below the average margin of victory, a margin of loss for the Cowboys at home this year.
You stole what I was going to say. I was going to say that the big thing is the Bengals are playing in Dallas. This is a big boost for them. Yeah. Bengals, I think this is going to be an easy win for them. Dallas, there's nothing really that you can say for this team that hasn't already been said. Give me Cowboys by 10. Or not Cowboys. Give me Bengals by 10. I think Dallas is their season's down the tubes. They haven't been playing well. The Bengals, I think, just need to just keep their season alive. Unfortunately, it might be a little bit too late, but hey,
what's crazy is they have a better record than the Bengals. I think that's crazy.
That is kind of wild.
The Bengal, what a disappointment it's been for them in the close game, all the close games they've lost.
Well, it's kind of crazy because they stole a game from the Steelers in Pittsburgh. They beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. They beat the Commanders at Washington. Like, those are two games where you wouldn't have expected them to win. And then you have the Bengals. Bengals really haven't been impressive. They also really haven't beat anybody impressive. So they lost twice to the Ravens. They lost twice to the Ravens in brutal fashion. Yeah,
they lost to the Ravens in overtime, and they lost on a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
And then they lost to the Chiefs by 1.
Yeah, it's not been a good year for the Bengals in terms of winning these type of games.
Like, even if the Bengals win out and get to 9-8, you're still dealing with the Chargers, who already have 8 wins. You're still dealing with the Ravens, who are sitting in second in the AFC North and already have 8 wins. You're still dealing with the Broncos in the West, who already have 8 wins. Like, you're going to tell me that none of these teams are going to pick up 2 more the rest of the way, or even 1 more?
Yeah.
Like, it's the math is just not in the Bengals' favor here. No. And I get they're still technically alive, but like, I probably not after this week. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it's rough for them.
What's tough is they've got the Broncos and the Steelers in their last 2 games of the season. And so, like, even if they won out, they'd have to.
Yeah, you have to win. You have to get that win over them. Like, having the Broncos there is good for you, right? Yeah. Because let's say the Broncos keep losing or win 1, you have the chance to be both 9-8 and have the head-to-head tiebreaker, right? There is some math here that works, that breaks in their favor, but it's very slim possibilities.
Yeah, brutal stuff. Brutal stuff from the Bengals.
Not that the Packers weren't at a similar place at this point in the season last year, right?
That is true. They found a way to get in, found a way to sneak themselves in, and they had to beat the Bears to do it. So just had to throw that there.
What an accomplishment!
What an accomplishment, Sam. You wanna hit us with a name drop here for where we can find you?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Puckworms and Lynxworms are my two shows. Puckworms is about the NHL. Lynxworms is about golf, and Puckworms I do with Anthony. Yes, Anthony is still my co-host. I know Noah fired Anthony the last time I was on here. So
I did not fire Anthony. I thought you fired him.
4 Nations rosters coming out today. We'll be talking about that next week on our next show. So that's that'll be exciting. But yeah, thanks for having me on. It's been fun. It's been interesting as always.
Yeah. I will say Finland's roster is terrible. Finland's roster is awful.
Yeah, because they shouldn't be here. It should be Russia.
It should be Russia. If
stupid Putin ruining everything.
Hey. Well. Yeah.
What's the hey there for?
Is that a controversial take? I don't know. Is that
no?
Is the take of this podcast that sovereign borders are not to be respected? Is that our take on this show?
I don't know.
I might need to quit the show.
I thought Sam was going down a rabbit hole that they were not going to go down. But anyways,
you were the only one talking.
I was the only one talking. Watch Snap the Pigskin on YouTube at Snap the Pigskin, or listen wherever you get podcasts. Listen to Kedrick's podcast, the Sconnie Six Pack. Does some great stuff over there. He also writes for Athlon Sports, and it is signing day. It's signing day. The transfer portal is going to be next week, so there's going to be some good articles out from you. I'm hoping. But and Badge basketball season starting as well. So feel free to give him a follow.
It's December 4th. It's been going for a month.
Yes, over a month. And they play Marquette this Saturday, which that should be very fun. That will be very, very fun. So yeah, I'm Noah, joined by Sam. This has been another edition of Snap the Pigskin.